Hello peoples of the internet, and surprise surprise, welcome to another Doctor Who action figure review. For today's video I shall be taking a look at the Third Doctor and TARDIS from the Monster of Peladon. Now this was exclusive to B&M. It got released earlier this year. I managed to get my hands on this. If we take a look at the packaging, it's very similar to what we've seen before. It's pretty much the same as what you get with these Doctor and TARDIS boxes. You have your Doctor, you have your TARDIS, there's a backdrop inside. This time it's of Peladon, it's very nice. You've got the same motive going around packaging with the new Doctor Who logo, and you've got the graphics of the TARDIS just there. And then going around, you've got pictures of the figures which this set includes. There you've got like a big massive bio at the back. Don't know if you can see all of that. You can pause all the video now so you can read it at your own leisure. And here's part of the window box. So overall, very nice packaging. Now let's take a look at these figures outside the box. And here's a closer look at the little backdrop inside the box of Peladon, something I don't really do. I don't know if you can see much of this, to be honest, but I thought I'd just give you a look at all of that. So you've got like all the steps inside the caves of Peladon, and then here you've got some little Easter eggs. You've got a giant maggot from the Green Death, and then just up there, lurking, is a mutt from the Mutants. So very nice. And here's all the mess that I've made. And in the words of the Joker in The Dark Knight, here we go. And I really wish that bird would stop tweeting in the background. I don't know if you can hear it, but it is quite distracting. So, let's take a look at this new TARDIS that has been released as part of this set. At first glance, I thought it was pretty much the same as the one what we got last year in the Fourth Doctor and TARDIS set, which is based on the beginning of Robot, or the end of Planet of the Spiders.
All praise to the Great One!
But there are a few differences with the paint applications. I've got to say, once again, character options have done a really good job. Obviously I hate things like this at the back. Got all these holes at the back because this doesn't have light and sound effects, which is pretty much a shame. But what you're getting this for really is just for the purposes of having this on the shelf, and it looks very, very nice. The police public call box sign, the windows, just all the weathering effects all over this TARDIS prop, the black sign, the silver handle, the lock, which has just all been painted blue. Sometimes it's painted silver. I guess it just depends on which one they release, really. You got the lamp at the top, which has been painted just all blue. They didn't decide to paint it black, which looks a little bit strange, but nevertheless it still works very much. And to be honest, you could pose this with either Jon Pertwee or Tom Baker, but obviously I'm going to pose this amongst all of my Jon Pertwee era figures because, well, it just makes sense to do that, doesn't it, seeing as this is a Jon Pertwee era TARDIS. And once again it has the functioning opening doors. You've had that horrible thing inside. I suppose if you wanted to, you could always do a custom TARDIS interior, so you could have maybe a Time Monster TARDIS interior like this background here. I probably won't do that, and once again you have your little button there. Can't really see that on camera. Oh, there you go. There's your button. You just press that, and then woohoo! What do you know? It all closes, and it fits in very, very well. Now, seeing as I said that this is very similar to the Robot TARDIS, and yes, I just realised the bird is still tweeting in the background. I don't know if you can hear this, but it's very distracting while I'm talking. I'm going to do a comparison now of the other TARDIS which was released, and honestly, as I said, I thought that the TARDIS was just exactly the same, but no, as you can see, the paint applications are completely different here.
It is a much lighter shade of blue, so it stands out a bit more on the shelf, which is very nice. And they've used slight retooling here and there, particularly at the base. So as you can see at the bottom here, this is much smaller than base we got here, and that's because they started using new bases around the time of when they released the Sharda TARDIS set and the Caves of Androzani TARDIS set. So all in all, it is actually quite different when you compare both of them together. But in all honesty, when this first got released, when they shown all the prototype images, I couldn't really tell. But there you have it. I guess if you collect all of these, then you certainly can tell all the differences and similarities between all of these things. I mean, after all, I've been collecting all of this for years. And here's your Jon Pertwee figure. Finally, I have a new Third Doctor figure. It seems like the first time in forever. At first glance, it looks pretty much like your standard Jon Pertwee figure with different paint applications. It's pretty much what you're going to expect with these by now, because it's just your same old combo. You have your neck, a chief, and you have your bow tie, or you could have a cravat depending on what costume it's based on. Bird, please stop tweeting in the background. I'm trying to review here. And obviously different paint applications depending on which costume is wearing. I think I'm repeating myself here, but I think you know what I'm getting at here. One thing I've noticed straight away, and I noticed this when it was inside the box, is the hair looks a bit more blonder. And I don't know if that's to give it that effect that his hair is whiter. So if you, as you can see there, like things like the sideburns, and there's just little curls in there that have been done in such a way to give the impression that his hair is much whiter. And I can sort of see the reasoning behind this, seeing as the Monster of Peladon is the penultimate story of the Jon Pertwee era. So it does sort of make sense, and I guess it makes this look a bit different to most of the other Jon Pertwee figures that we've got through the years. I need to collect more of his figures because, as you probably well know, I never got that TARDIS set 2 years ago based on the Time Monsters due to scalpers on eBay. Yeah, I said Time Monsters. I meant Time Monster. You know what I'm on about. But all in all, yeah, looks very nice. Looks just like Jon Pertwee. I always love the likenesses on these figures. Can't fault them at all. It's pretty much like a reuse of the Death to the Dalek sculpt. You have everything there. You have that there, which is just pretty much the same. It's been painted blue, black buttons, black bow tie. They've given him blue eyes just there. I don't know if you can see that. Very hard to focus. And yeah, all around. It's been painted in like a dark green. You can't really tell this on camera. It sort of looks black. But in real life, it looks a bit more greener, if you know what I mean. And there's his cuffs. Been done very nicely. And his trousers, they look just grey or black on camera. But in actual fact, they're like a sort of, I don't know, they're like a weird wash of brown. And to be honest, it stands out. And his shoes have just been done in the same colour. They've just been painted in a silvery colour or grey colour, and there you can see all of your usual stuff just at the bottom there. And yeah, it's pretty much your standard Jon Pertwee, and honestly it's a very nice costume. I always liked this costume, what he wore in the Monster of Peladon, so it's very nice that we have got a figure dedicated to that story. If we look at the articulation, head moves from side to side. These Jon Pertwee figures, they never wanted to do a 360, but I'm not all that fussed, to be honest. And, you know, your shoulders, they can do a 360. You've got movement at the biceps, at the elbows. You've got 360 at the wrists, and yeah, unfortunately the ring on his finger has just been painted over in a flesh colour. Why? I don't know. Probably just to reduce costs and all that. Legs can move up and down. You've got articulation at the thighs, at the knees, and you've got it at the waist as well, and that can do a 360. And that is pretty much it. I will say that the joints feel a bit more looser on this figure, and they sort of do on these B&M figures. I don't know why that is. I think it's because they're cheaper to make maybe than what they were, say, when they were producing these figures for Forbidden Planet and Under Ground Toys. Who knows? But to be honest, I'm just glad that we're getting more of these figures, because I'm a sucker for collecting things, especially when it comes down to Doctor Who. And yeah, after all this time, that bird is still tweeting. So there you have it. That is the Third Doctor and TARDIS set. Actually, it's an amazing set. It's really grown on me, especially since I picked this up, because I thought, oh, go on then, I'll pick this up. I wasn't as enthusiastic about this as, say, that infamous Time Monster set that I went on about before, because, as you know, I never picked that up, and if I wanted to get that now, it would cost me something like 80 quid. Yeah, as much as I love these figures, I'm not going to be paying 80 quid just for a Jon Pertwee and the TARDIS. That's a big no-no. But if anyone's selling any of these, then please let me know in the comments, because I would really want to get my hands on that for a reasonable price. Please don't charge me something like 100 quid, because that's just bloody ridiculous. But for the most part, I think that this is a very good substitute, especially for many of those like myself who missed out on the Time Monster set. So I would highly recommend that you do pick this up from your local B&M. That is, if they do have this in stock. It is very good. You have a very highly detailed Third Doctor figure, which is very, very nice, and I can't wait to display this alongside all of my other ones. And we have another nice TARDIS, which is based around a lot of the TARDIS props that we saw during the early 1970s in the Jon Pertwee era. So there you have it. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. As always, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Spread the word. Tell others about this channel. Get people to subscribe. And until next time, I shall see you later.
This review was brought to you by myself and some pigeons. Good job, guys.